Thank you.
All right, let me give you control. Okay, you should now be the host.
Thank you. I'm going to start I'm going to share my screen momentarily with a presentation, and I'll go through the presentation, which covers the basics of our program. Then we'll have ample time for questions and discussion. And after that, I'll be available to speak with anybody individually, to either schedule a time to have a one-on-one virtual meeting or phone call. Afterwards, to discuss your own situation. So can everyone see the screen? Great.
Yes.
So welcome to our info session, and our MSW program at the University of St. Joseph is informed by our institutional values. USJ was founded by the Sisters of Mercy close to 90 years ago, and really is driven by these core values. Among them are development of the whole person, compassionate service, hospitality, multiculturalism, and diversity. These are some of the core values that really overlap with the values of the social work profession as articulated by the NASW Code of Ethics. We think that these really converge in our MSW program, and are part of a program that not only offers you values, but emphasizes these values. Our MSW program was created to make it possible for working adults to complete their MSW in one year as an advanced standing student, 2 years advanced standing, 2 years full-time, or 3 years part-time. So we have multiple pathways for working adults who have different needs. Our classes are hybrid, so they're 50% in person and 50% online, with the online component generally being the equivalent of a class session in between in-person class sessions. That is normally engaging on your own time with online discussion board questions that are integrating classroom discussions with course readings and other content such as lecture presentations, videos, or narrated PowerPoints. All of our class sessions are scheduled during weeknights, normally Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday from 6 to 9 p.m., or Saturday mornings from 9 a.m. to noon, or Saturday afternoons from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. It's possible to take all of the required courses on a Saturday or on weeknights only. Our curriculum emphasizes community-based clinical practice. We want you to be familiar with and understand broadly and specifically the needs of the communities within which you are providing services. We have 3 specializations: health and behavioral health, which is really providing clinical services and services within the context of evidence-based interventions and evidence-based practice within integrated health settings. These are large mental health providers that have expanded their services to include the full range of health and mental health services under one roof. Child and family services, providing clinical and other intervention services to support, preserve, and develop families who are in various stages of vulnerability and/or risk of being involved within the child welfare system. This specialization also includes students who are interested in providing services in schools, such as school social work. We have had a veterans services specialization. We're currently not offering elective courses in that specialization, but we do have a faculty member with expertise in veteran services and military social work who's available to work with students and mentor them in this area, as well as the opportunity to apply for internships at the VA. Our program is fully accredited by the Council on Social Work Education. Our undergraduate social work program and our MSW program have had continuous accreditation since accreditation was offered to undergraduate social work programs. And our MSW program was started 9 years ago and received full accreditation after the initial 3 years of the candidacy period. I didn't mention earlier, but I was a founding faculty member in our MSW program. So I've been here since the beginning, and I'm happy to say that we've only gotten better. And we can only get better. We always are seeking to improve. Thanks to the feedback of our students like Tawana. Our field education model is very different than other MSW programs. We utilize an LCSW supervisor who we hire to provide you with 1 hour of face-to-face clinical supervision as required by your internships, but also they provide 2 hours of group supervision. And they also serve an important liaison and mentoring role. We call them clinical preceptors. These are seasoned clinicians, often who are working in agencies already at the level of program director or higher. And that enables them to both manage the process of identifying the programs within agencies where you'll be placed, to liaise with the task supervisors. They may not be they themselves may not be the program director or a supervisor within the program where you are working, but they will work with the task supervisor around appropriate assignments for clinical supervision, and they'll provide that supervision for you. In this regard, our model, which again differs from the traditional model where supervision is normally provided by volunteer supervisors. Our model enables quality and consistent clinical supervision when it's most convenient for the student, which for working adults is often in the late afternoons or the evenings. And that has offered our students with great value. In addition, for the 2 internships, each internship students have the opportunity to apply to as many of our partner agencies as they are interested in, and they'll have an interview with our preceptor and mutually determine whether they're a match for available opportunities. This differs also considerably from the practices in most MSW programs, where students are assigned their first internship and have more of a voice in their second internship. These are some of the features of our field model that we think are really that distinguish it and offer value. This slide is are some of the logos of our agency partners. They are we're working with most of the large mental health providers and preventive services providers in the state of Connecticut, certainly within central Connecticut and greater Hartford. And so some of those partnerships go back to the beginning of our MSW program. And one of the key benefits of that partnership is that we also offer a 10% tuition discount to full-time employees, actually full-time and part-time employees who work for our agency partners. And that discount is applied for each semester and applied to your as a credit on your bill. So we have 4 pathways. 2 of those are for students who have an undergraduate degree in social work, a BSW degree, 1 year advanced standing, which is completed in 3 semesters, 2-year advanced standing, which is completed in 5 semesters. The 2-year advanced standing begins in the fall, where students take classes part-time. And the summer, after that first year, they begin their internship and continue part-time classes until they graduate after that following academic year. Our pathways for students without a BSW degree, our 2-year full-time program is completed in 4 semesters. So you're taking classes full-time and you begin your first internship in year 1 and you complete your second internship in year 2. And our 3-year part-time program is completed in 8 semesters. So students are taking classes part-time in the fall and spring and summer semesters. And they begin the internship in the second year and complete the second internship in the third year. So the first year in the 3-year program, students are only taking part-time courses. This also provides an opportunity for students for whom it may be a long time since they were undergraduate students and or whose undergraduate record or transcript may not be the strongest, gives them the opportunity to focus on the academics and show themselves and show us that they are ready to continue and before they move into the internship in the second year. Our tuition is just over $1,000 per credit. For the 61 credit pathways, the 2- and 3-year programs, it's just over $63,000. For the 33 credit pathways, it's just over $34,000. And again, for those of you who are employees of our agency partners, that comes with a 10% tuition discount. In holding information sessions with many of our agency partners in the past month, many of the agencies are offering tuition forgiveness programs, as well as tuition reimbursement programs. So you should, if you're employed full-time, you should check with your agencies to learn more about what they offer. And if you are interested in applying for positions at any of our agency partners, once you're admitted to our program, we'll be happy to point you in the right direction. We offer limited MSW scholarships of $1,000 per year, which are renewable for 2 years. And we're looking for students that have a 3.3 GPA. There's a very brief application process. We also offer limited graduate assistantships which cover the equivalent cost of one course per semester in exchange for approximately 8 to 10 hours of work weekly with a professor or a department chair. All other financial aid is through the federal student loan programs available through the filling out the FAFSA form. And our financial aid office, I'll put the email in the chat later. I'd recommend that you speak to them about any questions that you have about the out-of-pocket costs related to tuition with the financial aid. Most of those costs are covered by financial aid, except in the 1-year advanced standing program. To apply for our program, I'll also include the link to apply for our program later. The online application will prompt you for 3 recommenders who will then submit their references directly to USJ. You will request transcripts from all institutions attended be sent to USJ, as well as complete a personal statement and supplementary application as appropriate. Once you've submitted those materials, you'll be invited for a virtual interview with myself or another faculty member. That faculty member will want to get to know you better. That interview is also an opportunity for you to discuss anything in your application and in your academic background that you might have a concern about. We understand, particularly for those of you who've been in the field or returning to school, that sometimes the undergraduate experience is not what doesn't reflect who students are now and their motivation and experience to pursue social work. So we want to understand your application holistically. We are looking for a 3.0 GPA, a minimum of a 2.75 GPA. And in some instances, we will work with you if you have under a 2.75 GPA. We may recommend a pathway for you to strengthen your application for the future. And I'll be happy to talk about that more later. In that virtual interview, you also have the opportunity to ask us all of your questions at that point in the process. And normally then within 5 to 10 business days, we will notify you of your status. And if admitted, you can reserve your spot in the class with a $200 deposit. At this time, I'm happy to answer all of your questions. You can raise your hand on the screen, or you can raise the hand on Zoom and or post your questions in the chat. Actually, Kimberly, I'm going to ask you to ask your question. And I'm going to say, because this is our first information session where we have a student talking about their experience, I neglected to have Tawana speak before we got to the questions. So I'll ask Kimberly to ask her question, and I'll ask Tawana to talk for a few minutes about her experience as a student in the 3-year program. And then both Tawana, myself, and Alicia will answer any of your questions. Kimberly.
I was just gonna ask, you said in the slide there's 3 specializations. I know in other colleges, they have different ones, like as far as like clinical, community-based, or like school-based. So is that what you were talking about?
So it's a great question, and other programs may offer more than one concentration. We only offer one concentration, which we call community-based clinical practice. Our curriculum is a clinical program. It's not a what we would call macro practice, although all students are taking courses in macro practice in the first year. Our program is not a macro program, which would be more administration, community organizing, policy, and planning. There are other MSW programs that also offer a generalist practice curriculum, which we do not offer. This does have special relevance to DCF employees. And you may have received today, Kimberly, an invitation for a special information session for DCF employees that we're holding. But I'll speak more to this later. If you're able to wait, I can discuss it in more detail with you. But with that, I'll turn it over to Tawana, who's our new incoming student council president and is a very vocal and engaged student in our program.
Hi, everyone. Again, my name's Tawana Preston. I am in the 3-year program here at St. Joe's for the MSW. This has been the best experience that I've ever had as far as college goes. Undergrad, I did many years ago. And I went because my parents told me I had to go, and they chose the school and all of that. But this was the opportunity for me to do something for myself and to find my purpose. My undergrad is in marketing. I have a business degree. So I'm actually doing a career change. So I was very nervous coming in because I'm like, everybody already does this stuff and everybody knows this stuff. And I'm just coming in to this program after graduating 19 years ago with undergrad. So I was very nervous. And also at undergrad, my grades weren't the best. So like Dr. DeJesus said, the interview is very important because they do take the time to hear you and where you are now and what your plans are going forward. I'm a mom, so I have a teenage daughter. I also work. So trying to figure out how this all works, because I know that Emma was saying trying to find a balance, like how does this work with trying to work a full-time job, trying to get this degree. Know that it is doable. Know that you will be fine, because that was one of my things too, like how do I do all this? And what I was deciding to do originally, I was like, okay, I want to go back to school. This was right when the pandemic began and life was crazy, as it still is. We're still finding our way, but I wanted to go back and I was like, I just want to do the 2-year program, get it done, move on, have a new life, a new career. And going into the interview, like you said, the professor that actually interviewed me is also now my advisor. You will receive the support that you need. Something that is very important to this program is supporting the students. So helping you with this balance is tons of free therapy too, because life comes with a lot of twists and turns, and it's not going to be you just getting into this program and coasting right through. Life is going to be happening around you. So your professors will support you through life events. It's not that you just come in and all that they see is you as a student. The program is based on professors that look at you as a person. They look at you as someone that's joining the field along with them. They don't look at them being here and you being here. They're here to put a hand down and lift you up. If you're looking for a school that is going to support you and encourage you and make sure that you're making the best decisions for your career, St. Joe's is definitely highly recommended on my behalf. I was an undergrad, just trying to coast through. And like you said, now I'm the president of our student council. I never planned to come here and do more than just get this degree, but the professors encourage us to challenge ourselves. There's grad assistant programs, the internships. You are placed in the driver's seat to go where you feel you may want to be, because there's so many options out there for social work. I actually just completed my first internship, so my foundation year internship, which that starts the second year of the 3-year program. And I decided to go, because for me, I'm like, what's going to set me apart? There's a lot of people getting degrees now in human services and social work and things like that. So what's going to set me apart? What can I do to make myself shine when everybody's going to be graduating and everybody's going to be looking for these jobs? So the internship that I chose was with an agency called A Mind's Journey. My goal is to get more than just practice. I also, besides getting the 480 hours of internship hours in a private practice with one-on-one, I also learned how to facilitate groups. And then I also received certification in equine therapy, which works with horses and therapeutic services. So that's making me set apart from some of my other cohorts when it's time to apply for these jobs later. So internships, they send them all the time. People are always looking for us. But if you're not sure what it is that you want to do, your advisor will definitely make sure that you have the support that you need. And with the student council, we are looking to bring in like mentoring and things like that, because at points you feel like overwhelmed. And just knowing that there are other people that are doing these things, and me being here, like I said, coming from a career change altogether and maintaining a 4.0 with a family, with a career, it is doable. And like I said, St. Joe's is definitely going to give you the support because the classes are small and it's kind of like a family. And our professors are like our parents. They want to see us do well. And Dr. DeJesus, he's been one of my professors. He was there to have meetings and one-on-one sessions when I didn't understand what I was doing with my research. But if you need to meet 9 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock at night, they are there to support you. So you don't ever have to feel like, okay, well, they only have business hours for, us to be able to speak with them. They work with your schedule. So if you work till 6, 7, 8, whatever, they will make sure to support you when it's convenient for you, not vice versa. So just know if you're looking for a school that's going to support you and make sure that you're successful, St. Joe's is definitely highly recommended on my behalf. And if you all have questions for me too, as a student, feel free, you guys can ask anything that you want. Oh, and financial aid, those people are also great too, because paying for this, because again, I'm not a part of any of those agencies because again, I was doing a career change. So that means Tawana had to take student loan and this and that to make this happen. But financial aid, same thing. You can schedule appointments with them. They will walk you through. If you want them to sit on with you while you fill out your FAFSA, they are really amazing too. And then you'll find your special people in financial aid that you'll want to just talk to them all the time about any and everything. And they will make sure financially that you make it through as well.
Thank you so much, Tawana. Questions for Tawana and Alicia and I.
Tony, we have a question in a box from Otisha. She's asking about, will somebody be reaching out about our internships?
So Otisha, I want to welcome you to the program officially. And And the answer is yes, absolutely. Amy Taylor will be providing you with more information later this week. And Dr. Elba Caraballo is our Director of Field Education, who will also be sending information out to, she may have already sent it to the one-year advanced standing students. So I will make sure that you get that by the end of the week.
And I'm sorry, I'm going to piggyback on that. Otisha, we've already pushed your app through, your thing. We've pushed it through, so you should be getting formal notification if you haven't already about your acceptance. And now it's just a matter of getting your student account set up. I have alerted the registrar's office to make sure that you're ready to begin on Thursday. And just give us a minute for the data to come together and show up on Thursday and you're good to go.
Thank you so much, Alicia.
Welcome. You're welcome.
How about questions for Tawana first?
First of all, I just wanted to share that just having a student perspective and her experience and her sharing it means more to me than anything else. So I'm grateful for you sharing your story. Also, I wanted to ask Tawana personally, a woman of color, how was your experience as a student? You know, as if you've been, you know, moving up the ladder, how's your experience been as a woman of color? I just want to know from that perspective.
It's been a great experience because everything, it's something you can't hide. It's visual. Like being a woman of color, coming into the program, I never felt slighted in any way. I've always felt supported by all of my professors. And we are here to explore the curiosities and things like that. Like last summer, I took multicultural mental health, and that course allowed us to all explore, like, you know, different biases and different things that we may not have been aware of culturally. But the coursework that we have, it puts us in position for those different situations, because race and culture can be a little bit uncomfortable at times for people, but everything was laid out. And we, you know, here at this school, we honor all cultures. We want to learn, we want to explore. And in our classes, it's multicultural. We have a little bit of everybody represented, and we, you know, are given the space to explore and to be able to recognize different cultures, and also just to learn, because in this field, that's what it's all about, learning about people.
Thank you, Tawana.
You're welcome.
I'll just add that I think we have a very diverse faculty, including our adjunct faculty, and everyone cares deeply about our students, understands the challenges of working adults. All of us are active in research, and for many of us, the focus of our research is looking at issues of diversity, equity, inclusion, anti-racism, anti-racist practice, LGBTQIA issues in social work. These are all front and center in our minds and in our discussions. Certainly there are challenges, as there are in every institution. I think that we are very open to engaging in with cultural humility around these issues. So for myself, I'm going to be going on sabbatical. Professor Robert Madden is going to be the acting director while I am on leave. And I'm going to be working on writing up the results of a number of studies that I've conducted with DCF based on their decade-long racial justice initiative. One of those studies is of a implicit bias training that was implemented last year. Kimberly, I don't know if you participated in that implicit bias training, but we studied the impact. Professor Gina Rostich and I conducted focus group with DCF employees studying the impact of that training on practice. So that's just one example. We have many other examples, and in the chat, I posted a link to a brief video about our program, which also has some of our faculty in that video. So I recommend that you look at that as well.
Dr. DeJesus, another thing that I wanted to add to, with St. Joe's, it's not just go to class and, do projects all the time. We also have additional events that are planned for our social work department. We had expressive arts therapy course that was provided on the weekend. That was amazing. We also had a play to come. It was, what was it called?
It was a staged reading on
It was African American.
wishes of Black men.
Yes.
Wishes for Black men, stories for white folks.
So it
was the name of the stage reading by Dr. Stephen Battle.
And it was a panel of African American men just discussing, different challenges with their life, their sexuality, different topics that we as social workers will be encountering. And it also was, kind of a talk back situation. So they would do a segment and then we would be able to kind of digest it, talk about it. How did it make us feel? So it's not just come to class. There are other things that they do provide to us through this program to gain additional knowledge outside of just our coursework.
Other questions?
I guess this is a question for Joanna. How many hours of coursework outside of the class did you have while you were working and going to school?
Well, with doing things outside of work, there are weekly discussions that you have to do. So there's going to be a good amount of reading and writing, but it is doable. I can't tell you exactly how many hours, but I do know that with having a child, with working and going to class, and like this past year with adding in the internship, because I was like, the first year I was coasting on through, like, all right, I got my thing down. And then it was like, okay, now let's add an internship in. But they still give you enough time, because it's like with the 3-year program that I'm in, it's pretty much like 1 to 2 classes that you're taking for that semester, and they break it in half. So it's like for the first half of the semester, you're taking 1 class. So it's not like you're doing a million things. I'm not sure how it works out with the other programs, but with the 3, if you have a lot going on in your life, the 3-year program makes it adjustable to adding this piece in, and you still being able to live your life and have, this much of a social life for a short time, but it is doable. And with the 3-year program, because again, it was such a large gap for me in between undergrad and grad school, and learning how to write again, and just being virtual and all of this was all brand new for me too, but it's doable. And with the projects and things that you have, professors, if they find everybody is overwhelmed and something may need to be pushed back, they do listen to us as students. And they love feedback. We have surveys for our professors as well as the course after each course ends. So they do look for the feedback, and they really do take our advice and make the program greater each semester.
Thank you.
You got this, Emma.
I think Tawana speaks to the fact that we definitely understand the challenges and the sacrifices that students are making, and that life happens. And so we certainly will have high expectations for the quality and the quantity of the work that you will do, but we'll be flexible, particularly if you are proactive with us. And, you know, we will, if you need to modify your program, we will work with you on that. We want to see you succeed. And you know, it's a very demanding journey, but as Tawana says, we just, a couple weeks ago, we had our graduation. We had 60 graduates, most of whom, like Tawana, are working and managing families and demanding lives. And they did that during a pandemic. So, you know, I think it's, we are very, we're very pleased with the work that we're able to do. And certainly there are many challenges, right? But it's very rewarding to see that students also, again, I can't tell you, we do have a survey. We haven't analyzed the results yet, but most of those students were already employed when they graduated. And there's great demand for MSWs these days, and I think those students knew it. Most of the agencies that we work with, when they're interviewing you for that the final internship, they're also interviewing you because they want to hire you when you graduate. Other questions?
And another thing that I can add for you guys too, that are, you know, kind of on the fence trying to figure out where you need to be. I had also attended other info sessions and things like that. But definitely, again, grateful that I chose St. Joe's, because last semester, right in the beginning of the semester, I had a surgery done, which it was supposed to be something quick in and out. And of course, it's that 1 in 1 million patients that has something go wrong. It was me. And I ended up having a little surgery turned into a major surgery. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to drop out this semester and recover, because I was in the hospital for over 2 weeks, and then my recovery time was a few months, but my internship adjusted for me, as well as, you know, my professors worked with me and allowed me to get things done, so that I was still successful in my semester. So even with major surgery in the beginning of my semester, I was still able to maintain my 4.0 with the support of my professors. They were patient with me, because it's not that, like he said, they want us to succeed. Like, they want it just as bad as we want it for us. So with all of that and still trying to maintain my family here, I was able to get through that. I was able to adjust things with my clients, because that also taught me, you know, when we get out here into the world of social work, life is going to happen. And how are we going to adjust for our clients, because they become a part of our lives as well. And I can tell you that, again, I had everything that I needed to be able to take care of me. And one thing that St. Joe's prides themselves on with this MSW program is self-care. They make sure we shut it down at points to take care of self. That's some of our assignments. So when you talk about how many hours after, self-care is huge. And they want us to take care of ourselves, because that's something that, you know, tends to get lost. But they won't let you forget about yourself. And even when you fall apart like I did, and you have to be surgically put back together, you can still do it. So be encouraged and know that this is a great opportunity with St. Joe's. So just coming to this info session, you're already doing a great thing, because now you're ahead of the game and knowing what we have here. And me as a student, I'm going to tell you the truth, because I always give it to Dr. DeJesus. I always let him know what is on my mind. So I highly recommend it, and you won't be sorry. Whether you pay the $63,000 to $36,000, or you get the additional assistance, it's worth it.
Thank you, Tawana. Any final questions? I saw that Piali had a question about prerequisites for someone who has a master's in another subject. So certainly having a master's in another subject will be a great advantage and foundation to build on in our program. But we only offer credits for students that have an undergraduate degree in social work through the advanced standing program, and we will accept master's credits from another MSW program that's accredited by the Council on Social Work Education. Certainly, we know that there are many other fields that students have done work in that are complementary, but we're unable to provide credits per our accreditation guidelines. So if there's no final questions, what I will do is momentarily just kind of officially end our info session. And you're welcome to stay on. And Tawana and I don't know actually if Alicia, if you're able to create breakout rooms, maybe Tawana could be in one and I could be in one, and people could come in and out if they have questions.